Hey guys, so I'm thinking through what it looks like to live out my baptismal commitment in daily life. Um, yeah, and that's just an interesting concept. I think for me, it's looked different ever since I started working vocationally in full time ministry. Because living out my baptismal commitment almost feels like my day job more so than an overflow of my own personal walk with Christ as I rub shoulder with my neighbors. Because kind of all day, every day, it's discipling teenagers and doing Bible studies and writing sermons and figuring out ways to help shepherd people. So it doesn't necessarily feel always organic. It feels like what I'm supposed to do. And I kind of wrestle with that. I really appreciated the Francis Chan video that we watched this week, with him just talking about how organic it was to just not have, really big churches and people that are salaried and all of that stuff because it eliminates kind of the business side of it and the formality side of it. And I'm definitely feeling that, thinking through the things that we're talking about in this class, and what it means to have this baptismal commitment in our daily life, and I feel like I try really hard to minister to my neighbors and get to know them and invite them over for dinner, my wife and I, and just try and be a light in our apartment complex that we live in. Um, but it often feels like working in a church, those type of extra things like your neighbors are the things that kind of fall by the wayside when I'm doing ministry all day every day. So I'm still kind of working through that, and figuring out exactly what that looks like. So I guess my question for you guys, for any of you that work in full-time ministry in some capacity, whether pastoral, youth ministry, missions, anything like that, in a church context, um, what do you do to live out your baptismal commitment in your everyday life when sometimes it feels like that's just your job? And how do you keep that fresh and exciting? And how do you keep that as an overflow of your own walk with Jesus, when it kind of feels like that's what you're doing all day, every day? So I'd love to just hear from you guys what that looks like.